Hey, is anybody out there? We'll see if anybody sees us. Well, we're live. Nobody's in the chat though. Haldo, everybody. Haldo. Sorry I'm a little late. There was a wasp. Had to go hunting. Okay. So, hello everybody. Just wait here for a minute or two. Let everybody kind of jump in. Like I said, I was hunting a wasp for a bit, so I'm 9 minutes late. Ugh. The fun stuff begins. Can you guys even post in the chat? Is that even a thing you can do? Let's see who's all in. Looks like some unknowns. Okay, we'll start in like a minute. Everybody hear me okay? Volume's not too loud, not too low. Sure it is, Coach B, sure it is. Who knows? Okay, well, we might as well just start. So this is August 23rd, and we're just gonna start off here with a little thing that I think everybody needs a little bit of reviewer on. Metric prefixes. We had a quiz the other day in class where it was basically a rank the metric prefixes from smallest to largest that we didn't do too hot on. And today for your 10-minute homework, in my CP class that is, and that's what we're doing up here, CP, I asked you to do a unit conversion from some inches number to meters. And everybody always asks me, like, fence posts, train tracks, what should I use? Well, whatever. You can use either one. I just like to call it dimensional analysis because that's what it really is. And it's just a matter of going from one unit conversion to another. So in the case of what we're basically doing, if we just take a look at something kind of generic, we just take like a dollar currency, right? Something everybody uses every single day. You've got something on the order of like $10 per, I don't know, like a bushel of apples. What is that, EL? Okay. And if you're asked just so you got $10 per bushel of apples, that's just a running cost right there. But these are technically units here. What we're looking at with these units is the fact that one quantity, $10, is in some sort of ratio or being regulated by some other quantity, the bushel of apples here. And you know, this is where last year you saw that train track start to build, or you know, fence post, whatever. Well, that was a bad line. Because at this point you can say, well, if I buy 4 bushel of apples, then how much money have I spent? And you know, you can see now everything starts to cancel out, and you simply multiply across 10 and 4. That gives you $40 worth, and that's more money than I would ever spend on apples. In the case of what we're doing with the inches tonight, we got to go a little bit further than that, because what you have is some number of inches that exist. And in the end, you're trying to get that in meters, which is a little bit weird, especially because these are imperial English units, and you're going to a metric unit, which is a much better unit in every single way. Because of this, though, you need conversion factors. And these conversion factors, you just have to find them. I'll give you them during class and whatnot, but you know, for tonight, this is the first one we're doing. You would just have to look that up. You'd have to see, okay, how many of something are in an inch, so that you can do a quick, easy conversion. And a common conversion that I know in terms of inches to other things is centimeters and inches. I know that one like the back of my hand. It's used a lot. And in general, there are 2.54 centimeters per inch. Okay? Now, you see the fence post train track thing's kind of like pre-built here. I just kind of drew that in because it's natural. But you don't have to use that. A lot of times, whenever I do stuff like this, I just like, and I'll do this off to the side here, I just like to write like, okay, I've got inches, centimeters per inch, and then note this is kind of the train track without the train track being there. You can kind of see it would go like right here and then right across. I just like leaving my fractions like that and calling it a day, because in the end, no matter what, my inches will cancel, and now I'm stuck with something in centimeters. Whatever your number was, 3/4, 5/8, 7/4, whatever, times this conversion factor. I just know it off the top of my head because I've done it a billion times. It's super useful for inches to centimeters. But if you didn't know that, you would just have to look it up. You'd have to say, like, Google, how many centimeters are in an inch? And Google would be like 2.54 every single time. So at this point, though, we're in centimeters. We want meters out of it. So we still need one more conversion factor here. If we're going from centimeters and we want meters out of it, we have to ask ourselves, okay, I've got meters. I need centimeters in the denominator so that they cross out. Look, now I've got meters lovely there. And it's just, if I've got 1 meter, how many centimeters are in it? And this is something that we can remember from our metric conversions as well, and our metric prefixes. And the key is this C right here. All of these meters, we see centimeters and meters here. Meters is the actual distance we're representing. We're measuring things in some quantity of meters. The metric prefixes that we're looking at are things such as pico, nano, micro, milli, centi, nothing for when it's just meters. So I'll leave a gap here. Because this is, there's no prefix, it's just meters. And then coming on the other end, we've got stuff like kilo for thousands, we've got mega, we've got giga, you can keep going and whatnot in both directions. But this is -12, -9, -6, -3, -2, 0, and then we've got 3, 6, and 9, I believe. Question mark on that? Let's double check. But basically all we're playing here with these conversions here is we remember that in terms of centimeters to meters, there's 100 centimeters in a meter. And you can always think of a meter stick we've got sitting around in the classroom. If you ever flip those over to the centimeter side, you'll see that there's easily 100 sitting there. So we just end up playing the game of, okay, 1 meter is 100 centimeters. Now we multiply everything going across the top and then divide it by the bottom. And when we divide by this 100, this is actually a fun thing for us to do, or maybe we're dividing by something else, because of these zeros sitting here. You could throw whatever number you have here in the beginning through and then down, and do it on your calculator. You'll get, whatever your answer is here. But what I like to do whenever I'm dividing or multiplying by something like 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 is the zeros are actually really easy to just slide through. Let's say I've got a number like 6,427. I can divide that by 100 very quickly. You don't need to throw it into a calculator. What you need to do is recognize that there are 2 zeros here, and the decimal is actually hidden in a little bit way on this number. Remember, this is like 6,427.0000000 forever. Because we have these 200 here as in division, we're actually taking this decimal and we're going to make this number smaller, so the decimal is going to drop over the same number of zeros we have. So this is just 64.27 now. And if we were multiplying instead, the decimal would just move back over to the right. So if you're ever dividing or multiplying by 100, 1,000, 10,000, 10 million, you know how many zeros are there, probably because of your metric prefix, and you can just drop that 0 back and forth. Makes life very easy. Okay? So that's just a quick refresh on how to do metric conversions, train tracks, fence posts, dimensional analysis, whatever you like to call it. Just remember, you're just going from one thing to the next, just like with dollars and apples. Just logically sit there and think through it. Note, this was a real quick one, but I still ended up writing a lot just because, you know, it takes some time to think about it and write what you want to do, and then once you do that, you know you're in the game. Later on in the year, we'll be doing some crazy units where we'll be looking at stuff like kilogram, meters per second squared, and then we'll be multiplying that by meters. Then it's like, well, I've got some weird thing going on here. Okay? So, cool beans. I'm going to stop here. And you go into AP.